everybody, Wannabe Reviewer here, and welcome back to the Wannabe Podcast, episode 35. Before we begin this week's podcast, I just had a quick announcement I wanted to make, and that is that next week, if everything goes good, fingers crossed, I should be streaming Bloodstained Ritual of the Night over on twitch.tv/wannabe_reviewer. For anyone who doesn't know, Bloodstained is this game that I helped kickstart, I want to say like 5 years ago, and it's actually out now for PS4, Xbox One, and PC, but I asked for a copy of the Switch version, and that's coming out next Tuesday. And yeah, that's why hopefully, if everything goes well, the copy arrives on time, my internet's acting the way it should, all that good stuff. I really want to play it with you guys. And so yeah, I just thought, hey, I'm excited for this game. I really want to share it with everyone else. So what if I stream it? And yeah, unfortunately, I don't know exactly what time or what day. I'm trying to shoot for Wednesday, though I'm not too sure. But yeah, if you follow me over on Twitter at wannabe_review, I'll for sure send out a tweet saying for sure like what day, what time, all that good stuff. And if you follow me on Twitch itself, my profile, wannabe_reviewer, if you click follow and you turn on notifications, you'll actually see the moment I go live. Like it'll send you notifications, so like that's a way to like get informed, but yeah, I'm excited to play the game. I've been waiting forever to play it. From what I've seen, it looks really good, and I'm excited to share it with you guys. So hopefully you guys can join me. As I said, all the information is to be determined, but keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I'm excited, and I'll see you there, I guess. With that being said, I had quite a week this week, watched lots of things, even played a new game, so let's dive into that. The first thing that I want to talk about for my week is that I finished watching Sarazanmai. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is, or maybe you have tuned in when I talked about it, but you don't remember, Sarazanmai was the anime that I said was like super weird. It feels kind of like a psychedelic trip. Basically, trying to like make a long story short, it's this story about three boys, and they get turned into kappas one day, and kappas are these like turtle looking things from like Japanese mythology. And yeah, they get turned into kappas by this other kappa who says he's like the prince of the kappa kingdom, and he tasks them with destroying kappa zombies. And basically kappa zombies are like weird, like twisted versions of people that run on desire. And so what the Kappa prince, his name is Kepi. What Kepi tells the boys is like, if you want to turn back into like humans, you need to destroy this Kappa zombie. You do that by extracting its desire, and when you do, not only do you get transformed back into like humans, but you get something called a dish of hope. And if you collect 4 of them, you get to make a wish. And so yeah, it's really weird. The show, it just has all sorts of like weird humor and imagery and symbolism. It's a strange show, but overall, I would say I really enjoyed it. The ending does feel a bit rushed. I will say that. And I do feel like some of the symbolism and stuff going on is a little too weird, where like by the end, you're still kind of like scratching your head going like, I don't get it. And you might need to like watch it again to like kind of get, some of the stuff you missed the first time. But overall, I thought the series was really good. I thought that like the weirdness was really interesting. I thought that the characters, 2 of them for sure I liked. One of them I kind of didn't like as much, but by the end, I guess you kind of see where he's coming from, so it's okay. Like the biggest thing about the show is that since it has to do with the boys distracting desire out of these like twisted like creatures, when they do, as they're transforming back into humans, they have a moment where there's something that's called a leak that happens, and basically it's like all their minds meld together and they see the secret of one of the other person in the trio. And I thought those were really interesting. And yeah, as the show progresses and you see more of like the boys' secrets and like their hidden like feelings and stuff, like that was probably the best part of the show. It was really interesting seeing like the boys' secrets and their connections to one another, and seeing how they grow, I guess, and they kind of learn to like trust other people and stuff. And I don't know, like that part of the show was really interesting. As I said, the weirdness was really cool. Like, even though it was like a really strange show, and it really makes you kind of like sit there and scratch your head. I thought that was really interesting. I thought the music was pretty good. Like there's these weird cops that they don't sing in every episode, but when they do, it's pretty entertaining. You know, it's like a weird musical within the episode. I thought that was fun. And so yeah, overall, I really like the show. I would recommend it if you're the type of person who doesn't mind weird anime with like weird imagery and crazy plots. I think you'll enjoy it. And yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what else to say. I just enjoy the show. I think it's good, you know, despite of or thanks to its weirdness. And I don't know if it sounds interesting at all. Check it out. You know, I think you'll enjoy it. And yeah, once again, it's called Sarazanmai. It is 11 episodes. It's over on Crunchyroll. You know, that's one option for watching it. But yeah, there you go. Moving on, another thing that I watched that I'm going to talk about just very briefly was Aggretsuko Season 2. And I guess starting from the top, for anyone who doesn't know, Aggretsuko is this show from the same people who make Hello Kitty. However, compared to Hello Kitty, which is like very childish and it's aimed at like really younger viewers, Aggretsuko, while it's not like TVMA or anything, it is meant for like, you know, like a more mature audience. You know, it's more for like people who like have jobs, you know, like more mature people or whatever. And basically, you know, over on my channel, I did cover Aggretsuko Season 1 and I did do a review of it. And when it comes to the first season, I loved it. You know, I think Retsuko's super relatable. I think the stuff she deals with, like not liking your job and having, you know, crappy coworkers and, you know, like her romantic life situation not being the best and just feeling kind of lost and stuff. I can relate to all that, you know? And not only that, but like the other characters are really fun. The humor's really good. I think the way that she uses like death metal karaoke sessions to like let out her aggression and, you know, kind of vent. I think like that's really creative. I really loved that in the first season. So unfortunately, and I'm not going to go too in depth because I do want to do a review on it, you know, next week or whatever. But I thought that season 2, like it's not bad, but it's not as good as season 1. While season 1 felt like this like breath of fresh air and it felt like, man, this is so relatable and it's so like, wow, this show's going places. I just feel like season 2 wasn't that special, honestly. Like, I just feel like it played it really safe. I feel like it just copied a lot of the same story beats from season 1, which kind of disappointed me, you know? Like, you know, in season 1, Retsuko, you know, she's dealing with not liking her job. And she's dealing with crappy coworkers. And so what does she do in season 2? She's still dealing with not liking her job. And she's dealing with a new crappy coworker. In season 1, you know, she's not sure about choosing a romantic relationship because she doesn't know what she wants in life, you know, whatever. In season 2, same thing. And I don't know. I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, I do get it because it is the kind of stuff that people deal with. Obviously, you know, it's not like you have a crappy job and then suddenly problems go away. I mean, it makes sense the problems keep coming up, and unless you leave the job, you keep dealing with stuff. You know, same thing with romantic relationships. It makes sense that you know, you think you know what you want, but then stuff happens and you kind of change your mind, and then you change your mind again. Like, I get it, but it's just, it felt too repetitive, you know? It felt too much like season 1. I don't know. Maybe my expectations were too high. And like I said, I'm gonna try to like put my thoughts a little more coherently into like a review over on my channel, but I just thought that season 2 was kind of weak, you know? Like, that's not to say it was terrible. You know, like if I gave season 1 a, let's say 10 out of 10, I would give this like an 8, maybe 8.5 out of 10. But it was just one of those things where I guess I expected more. I wanted to like deal with new issues, and it seems like it dealt with a lot of the same issues and just repeat a lot of the same story beats. So I still recommend it. You know, your mileage may vary. Maybe you won't be as disappointed as I was, because for you, maybe it'll be fine. Maybe you won't mind the repetitiveness or whatever. But when it comes to me, I was a bit disappointed. So I don't know. Check it out and, you know, form an opinion for yourself, I guess. So yeah. Finally, the last thing that I watched this week that I wanted to talk about is Neon Genesis Evangelion over on Netflix. For anyone who remembers, back in episode 26, I said that the show was going to hit, and back when I talked about that, I believe I also mentioned that there was going to be like a new dub version. And so yeah, did I watch every single episode and stuff? No, but I did skip around here and there. And I don't know, I'm kind of mixed about it, honestly. Like on the one hand, I mean, keep in mind, when I watched the show, I watched it subbed. So I don't really have any affection for like one dub over the other, you know? But still, I downloaded a couple of episodes of the old version so I can compare it with the new version. And I do think that the new dub, I want to say it's better than the old dub. I feel like the, quality is like a little, it's like a step up. The bad thing though, I don't know, like there's just some lines between characters, there's some moments. Then this new version, I guess they want to go with like a better translation. So on the one hand, I mean like that's better in the sense that like, oh, it's more faithful or whatever. But when you're listening to it and you're watching the show, it kind of takes some impact away from some character moments. Like it's kind of hard to describe because I don't want to spoil anything. But basically, this is skipping ahead to the movie actually, which is like a sequel to the series, but it all hit Netflix at the same time. There's this moment where the main character, like I said, I don't want to spoil like what's happening, but there's a moment where he does a thing and he says, to himself, like really disappointed, he goes, "Man, I'm fucked up." All right. And when you see that, you're like, yeah, you are, Shinji, you are fucked up, because what he does is like really, really bad. In the new version, they change it so that he says, "Man, I'm like the lowest of the low," or something like that. And while it still makes sense, and while maybe that's like a more proper translation of the Japanese version, it doesn't have as much impact, And so it's one of those things where when you listen to it, it just feels like, I can't believe you took some of that impact away. So like that sucks. Another thing is that in the original version, after the end of every episode, the ending song is a different rendition of "Fly Me to the Moon." And oh man, like as you're watching the show, I just think it fits so well, Like when you first start off the series and the series is a little more like lighthearted in nature, it's just like a nice mellow song to end each episode on. As the series progresses and it gets a little more like darker, like I said, I'm not going to spoil it, but as it gets like more darker and like the show starts becoming like more messed up and kind of like, falling apart at the seams or whatever, the song works because it just feels so like lonely and haunting and like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but if you watch the show, I know that so many people love hearing the song because it just fits so well. And it sucks because in this new version, they don't have the license to the song. So instead of ending with "Fly Me to the Moon," each episode of Evangelion ends with this like generic piano instrumental. And while don't get me wrong, the piano instrumental's still really good, it's not the same, And so that sucks. And I don't know, I was upset, Last night, if you check my Twitter, I want to say it was like around midnight, I actually tweeted out that like, oh man, they don't have "Fly Me to the Moon" and the Netflix version of Evangelion, might as well throw everything in the trash. And yeah, seriously, without it, it just feels so incomplete. So yeah, overall, pros, I do think the voice acting, I think it's a little better. I do think it's great that all of this, series is available somewhere that people can watch it, because I know that it's kind of hard to come by. So like those are all pros. But when it comes to cons, it loses a bit of its charm. Some of the stuff has been changed around, which, I know a lot of people aren't happy with. And they take the ending song away. So I don't know. As someone who's watched it before, I guess it's the kind of thing where like whatever, I can just go rewatch like the sub versions that I have saved on my computer. It's no big deal. Having watched the series anyway, at least I've experienced it before. But I don't know. For someone new, I don't know. It's hard because I would like to say go watch the old version, but I know it's not that available. So I don't know. I guess if you're a new watcher, I guess it won't make that much of a difference to you. I still recommend the show. I say it's like an excellent, strange show. It's a strange journey, but I don't know. It's just one of those things where it doesn't feel like the complete experience, Regardless, I still hope anyone checks out the show. It's on Netflix. I would say check it out. And yeah, have fun with that because that show is a total trip. So yeah. finally, the last thing that I want to talk about that I did this week is that I've had this game on my PS4 for like the longest time, and I had just never played it. You know, it's the same thing as like Edith Finch that I talked about. Was it like last week or the week before? But for whatever reason, you know, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna play this game. I've heard good things about it. And so this week I played Grim Fandango Remastered. And for anyone who doesn't know, Grim Fandango is by LucasArts. LucasArts, yeah, as in like George Lucas. It was like his little video game studio, because they used to make like, you know, adventure, like point and click games. But the last game they ever made was Grim Fandango. And yeah, it is just a really great, really fun game. Basically, you know, it takes place in like the land of the dead, and all the characters have like the Calaca style, you know, like the Mexican Day of the Dead. If you've ever seen like the sugar skulls and stuff, everyone looks like that. And basically it's this like Day of the Dead / film noir sort of story where you play as this guy called Manny Calavera, and he starts off as like a traveling agent, because whenever somebody dies, depending on how, you know, much good deeds and stuff they did in their life, they get offered like a different traveling package to make it to the afterlife, which is like heaven or whatever. And so, you know, if you're someone who like didn't really do a lot of good deeds, you'll get something crappy, like you have to walk there, and it'll take you like 4 years to get there. But if you do really good, you know, like the best of the best, you'll get a ticket for the like the number 9 or something, like that's what the train's called. And it's like this bullet train that'll get you to heaven in like 4 minutes. And so basically when the game starts, Manny Calavera is like this traveling agent, and he's kind of down in his luck. He never gets good clients, that sort of thing. His boss says he's going to fire him unless he gets some good clients. So he steals a client from one of his coworkers, and it's this girl, and her name is Meche. And he thinks that she should get a ticket for the number 9, but for whatever reason, the system says that no, she has to like walk there. And basically, as you play, you know, you discover there's a conspiracy, and the reason that she didn't get on the train, it's, you know, there's this thing happening, there's like a whole, I guess, a conspiracy, and I don't know, it's hard to explain, I don't want to spoil it, but it's really fun. It takes place like over 4 years. It's, you know, each year is like a different act, and each act shows you like in a different location, that sort of thing. And it's a really good game. It's just really fun. You know, you like, if you've ever played a point and click game, it's the kind of thing where you walk around, you interact with stuff, you talk to people, you solve puzzles, that sort of thing. And I don't know, I just had a lot of fun with it. I think it was a good game. I can see why people like it has a legacy, and I recommend it. You know, like if you like mysteries, or you like the Day of the Dead aesthetic, if you enjoy those old school like point and click adventure games, you know, any of that stuff, I think you'll like the game. I think it has a really good voice acting. I think the gameplay overall is pretty fun. I mean, there is some parts where it's kind of, you know, iffy because of like camera controls, or, you know, some puzzles that are a bit weird to figure out or whatever. But overall, I just think it's a really good game, and I really like it, and I recommend it. You know, like I said, I can see why it's considered some of people's favorites, because it's just a really fun game. So yeah, you know, I say check it out. It's like on all systems. I know it even came to like the Switch like a couple months ago or whatever. So check it out. You know, I think it's a really fun game. So yeah. Alrighty guys, so with that being said, that brings it to the end of my week. As I said, you know, I watched some stuff, played a game, you know, I think it was a pretty nice week. I think it's way better than last week where I didn't really have anything to talk about, so I don't know, there you go. Hopefully that gives you guys some ideas of something to play or something to watch, that sort of thing. With that being said though, let's move on to the news. And the first news story that I want to talk about is actually one from last week that for whatever reason, I just never noticed it. And this week when I was looking for stories, I noticed it. And I'm like, hey, that fits in pretty well, actually. I should bring it up. So yeah. As the title of the article states, some Shenmue III Kickstarter backers want refunds because it's an Epic Game Store exclusive. So yeah, like I said, this is a story that came out last week. Kind of wish I had talked about it around E3 time, but basically last week, during E3's PC gaming show, they showed a trailer for Shenmue 3, which, you know, if you don't know, that's like a Kickstarter that It's been like same as Bloodstain. It's been, a few years that's been in production. People are excited for it, that sort of thing. And yeah, this whole story is just really icky because basically the studio who's making Shenmue 3, when they made the Kickstarter, they said, this game will be available on PS4, Xbox One, and PC, specifically on Steam. And people backed the game with, that in mind. And even like a few weeks ago, they sent out, and I know this because I helped kickstart the game, for like a PS4 copy. They sent out emails that said, make sure to update your information because, we're finalizing things and we want to confirm your address, that sort of thing, blah, blah, blah. And in the email, it mentions, once again, PS4, Xbox One, and Steam. Flash forward to like last week or whatever, and yeah, it was announced during the PC gaming show that no, the game is going to be an exclusive to the Epic Game Store. And that upset a lot of people because that's not what the studio had told them. Like, that's not why people backed. They backed under the impression that they would receive their Steam copy. And yeah, it just sucks because then people were asking for refunds and they were being told that no, they can't refund the game. So the whole thing's just really icky. People are super pissed off right now. I mean, I don't blame them. For anyone who might be wondering, like, I don't get it. What's the big deal? Why not just play it on Epic Game Store? Number one, it's because just like that, like sense of betrayal that they would change exclusivity. Like literally, like I said, like just like a couple weeks later when they had sent out emails saying it was going to be on Steam. So like that's one reason. Another reason is that people just hate the Epic Game Store because like the whole thing's just broken. Like they don't even have a cart feature, So basically, to put it this way, imagine if you're talking to like a friend and they say like, give me some money and I'll get you a copy of this game and I'll mail it straight to your house. And because you're like, oh, cool, he's going to get the game from me and mail it to my house, you give him the money. And so you give him the money under the impression you're going to get it straight to your door. And then, let's say time passes and he's like, oh yeah, I got you the copy of the game, but instead of it getting mailed to your house, you have to go pick it up at this abandoned factory where people are known to like get mugged and shot or whatever. I mean, I know it's kind of extreme, but think about it. It went from being a place that you're comfortable with, that the person made the agreement with you, to being at some totally different location that you don't like, that is troublesome. So I don't know. Weird analogy, I know, but yeah, people aren't happy. So I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. Even though I am getting a PS4 copy, and so this doesn't affect me like directly, I still feel pretty bad because I think them doing that is just really crappy. And I don't know. I mean, I just think this is going to really bite the game in the butt because I don't know. I mean, that's just really sucks. But, there you go. If you want to read more about it, the link will be in the description below. So, check it out. Moving on, and speaking of stuff that people aren't too happy for, I didn't know this, but apparently there's a Dr. Mario game coming to Android and iOS next month. So that's interesting. It's called Dr. Mario World. And yeah, I mean, on the one hand, the game looks fun. It's like a Dr. Mario game, but like the graphics are better. There's more playable characters. You can play as Dr. Mario, Dr. Luigi, Dr. Peach, Dr. Yoshi, Dr. Bowser. Everybody has like their own ability, that sort of stuff. So on the one hand, the game does look fun. It looks nice. On the other hand, though, because it's a phone game, it looks like it's going to have a lot of microtransactions, which that's always disappointing. And yeah, I mean, like if you look at the comments of the article, a lot of people are disappointed. Basically, they're saying like, man, it sucks that, Nintendo's taking this route where it's a free-to-play game with microtransactions. Some people are saying, I would have preferred if it was a Mario Run, where you pay a one-time fee of, what was it, like $10, but you get the whole game. And then, I don't know, other people are disagreeing. They're saying, hey, a free-to-play game, if you know how to play it right, it's fine. If you know how to play it right, you don't even have to spend money. You just have to be smart about it, that sort of thing. But I don't know. I mean, I don't play mobile games at all, so I don't even know if I'll ever check this out. But I don't know. It's just the kind of thing that it is kind of disappointing. Because like I said, on the one hand, nice graphics, lots of playable characters, looks fun. On the other hand, though, yeah, the microtransactions are definitely a big turnoff. I mean, even though you probably can play the game and master it without ever paying anything, it just kind of leaves a sour taste in your mouth, you know? But I don't know, if you're the kind of person who does play mobile games and you like playing them and you don't mind microtransactions, or you have the ability to play them and never spend a cent, then hey, maybe this game's for you. So I don't know. But yeah, Dr. Mario World coming July, I believe 10th. So look forward to it. Finally, my last piece of video game news is once again kind of a mixed one. Because basically, back during like the beginning of E3, maybe a little before, Konami put out like this tweet where they were being really mysterious. And they were saying like, ooh, we have this announcement that we think a lot of fans are going to look forward to or whatever. Something like that. And a lot of people were excited. They're like, ooh, you know, is that going to be... You know, are they bringing back a series? Are they doing a remaster? What are they doing, you know? Because Konami, as I've said it many times before, they've kind of really shit the bed lately, you know, not really treating their series the way they're supposed to. And so hearing that they're making like this like announcement, it sounds like, oh my God, are they going to redeem themselves? Are they making a new game? Or are they bringing a series back? Like, what's happening? And so people were excited. And then it was announced that their big thing is that they are making a Turbografx 16 mini, a PC Engine CoreGrafx mini, and a PC Engine mini. So yeah, people were less than excited. For anyone who doesn't know, basically these systems... I don't know. I never even used them before. But yeah, similar to like the SNES Mini and like the PS1 Classic or whatever, they're going to be like these little mini systems with some preloaded games. And they're going to allow you to, you know, play on, you know, using HDMI and have quick save, all that good stuff. And it's going to have games like, you know, the Japanese version's going to have like Castlevania and Bonk and, you know, Dungeon Explorer. While the North America and Europe version, they're going to have Ninja Spirit and Alien Crush and that sort of thing. And I don't know. I just think it's so sad how Konami's making this announcement. People are super excited. And then when they saw it, they were just so disappointed. So I don't know. Just wanted to share that real quick. I don't know if any of you have any love for these systems. I never played them, but I just thought it was an interesting story. I thought it was kind of sad. I mean, on the one hand, good on Konami for... It looks like they're trying to redeem themselves slightly. I mean, they are releasing like these consoles. They are allowing, you know, a lot of their Konami characters like in Smash. They are releasing a lot of like remasters of like their Castlevania series, that sort of thing. But on the other hand, I don't know. When you pull stuff like this, where you make it almost sound like you're bringing a series back, and then you're just releasing like a little system that no one seems to be interested in, it's iffy, you know? But I guess we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Will Konami redeem itself? Who knows? But let's move on. Moving on to movie news, I thought this was like a pretty interesting little story. Earlier this week, Pixar announced that its original movie Soul is going to come out June 2020. And we have, you know, a few details. So for those of you who don't know, in recent years, Pixar's has done a lot of sequels, you know, like they did Finding Dory 2. They did, Cars 3, Incredibles 2, Toy Story 4, that sort of thing. And a lot of people have kind of criticized them because they feel that, you know, you used to be a company that made a lot of original movies, but lately it seems like you're only doing sequels. And I don't know, I guess the company is taking all that into consideration because they said that after Toy Story 4, they're not going to do sequels for a while, and they've announced new films. So one that they announced not too long ago was Onward, and there's like a little trailer for it. And it's supposed to be this movie about these two elf brothers going on a journey to discover, you know, what happened to magic. Where did all the magic in the world go? So, I mean, it seems interesting, seems cool. Tom Holland and Chris Pratt are supposed to be the two elf brothers, so, you know, they definitely have some talent behind it, that sort of thing. So that's supposed to come out March 2020. Recently, and what this news story is about, they have a new movie called Soul. And basically, similar to how Inside Out was about like your feelings, Soul is going to focus on your soul, I guess. And like the little excerpt right here says, ever wonder where your passion, your dreams, and your interests come from? What is it that makes you, you? In 2020, Pixar Animation Studios takes you on a journey from the streets of New York City to the cosmic realms to discover the answers to life's most important questions. So, yeah. I mean, like, it sounds interesting, sounds weird too. I mean, like, a movie about the cosmic realm and souls and stuff. Like, what'll that even be about? Like, it definitely sounds weird, you know? But I don't know. I mean, Inside Out was really good, and that was kind of personifying emotions and stuff. And that sounded like a weird concept, but they made it work really good. So I don't know. I mean, if Soul is anywhere half as good as like Inside Out, then I think it'll be fine. And I am curious to see more details because it sounds really interesting. Like, will they make the parts of the soul, you know, anthropomorphic, or will they make, like, I don't know, or will someone's soul be journeying through different realms? Like, how will it work? I don't know, but it sounds interesting. And I just think it's cool that, you know, Pixar, I think they've taken into account that people are like, you guys are making too much sequels. So it's cool to see that they are going to make some more original movies, you know? Like I said, they're going to make Onward, which is about the Elf brothers trying to see where magic went. And then they're going to make a movie about souls somehow and showing us what makes people who they are, I guess. So I don't know. Here's to hoping that those movies are good, I guess. So yeah. But yeah, if you want to read more information about it, link will be in the description below. Let's move on. This other movie news story, not too much information, but I still thought it was worth mentioning. Apparently, A Quiet Place 2 has officially begun production. And as the article states, it should have a 2020 release date. Yeah, not sure what else to say. I do think it's kind of weird it's getting a sequel because I feel like A Quiet Place, it felt like a pretty self-contained story, you know. I think if it had just been the one movie, that would have been fine. But then again, I kind of get it. I mean, when you set up this whole world with like a whole mythology and stuff, I guess you want to kind of expand on it, that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, there you go. If you like the first Quiet Place, they've begun production on a second one. It's supposed to come out next year. And yeah, I mean, if you read the article, it says that John Krasinski is going to return as like the director. A lot of the people who came out in the first one are supposed to redo their roles. Apparently, Cillian Murphy, you know, you guys might have seen him like in the Dark Knight trilogy. He's gonna come out, so that's interesting. And yeah, I mean, will the second part be any good? Who knows? I mean, like I said, maybe they're kind of messing it up by not leaving it as like one self-contained story. But then again, who knows? You know, maybe there's some potential there. So I don't know. If you like the first one, then look forward to the second one. So yeah. This news story, it's a weird one. And, you know, I want to give the kid the benefit of the doubt, but I guess we'll have to see how it goes. Basically, as the title of the article states, Netflix responds to backlash against Stranger Things star's prank show. So basically, not too long ago, I want to say it was like a week ago, there was this announcement that the kid who plays Dustin on Stranger Things, he's going to have his own prank show. And it's going to be this prank show where, let me see if I can get like the little, I thought I could find where it says what the show's going to be about. I can't find it. But it was described as like a hidden camera prank show where people think they're going to get a job and then they prank them. And when people read that, they're like, that sounds really screwed up. Because, you know, trying to get a job is like really hard and it's frustrating. And so if you're going to be pranking people by going like, you're going to get a job and then, haha, just kidding, you're not. People are like, that is really screwed up. And every episode better end up with him actually getting them a job, you know? Because if not, that sounds really like I said, screwed up. And so, yeah, people were like talking all sorts of trash and they were complaining. I guess they were saying stuff to Netflix, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, since then we did get an update, which is, you know, where the Netflix response part comes in. Apparently, this is what Netflix said. It says the pranks encounters are spooky, supernatural, and over the top. And everyone had a great time. All participants came in with the expectation this was a one-day, hourly gig, and everyone got paid for their time. So, you know, like I said, I do want to give this show, the benefit of the doubt because it sounded really bad. It sounded like they were basically going to be making fun of people looking for work. But if, what it says here is true, unless we get like people in the future complaining saying that it was a lie, it sounds not that bad. It sounds like, oh, okay, it's not what people thought, like people thought it was people getting screwed out of jobs, but it seems like, it's different. It's people who, come help out at this like location and then they prank them and they get paid afterwards. So it doesn't sound as bad. And I'm really hoping that they're telling the truth. They're not just trying to cover their asses or whatever. But yeah, I mean, there you go. The whole thing sounds iffy. But as I said, if Netflix is telling the truth and it really is just, some simple jokes, everybody gets paid, they aren't making fun of people who are unemployed and stuff, then okay, it's not as bad as it sounds, but oh man, I'm not gonna lie. At first, when I read the first like announcement, it sounded really bad, and I don't blame people for like reacting the way they did because it sounded really scummy. So so yeah, if you want to read more about it, link is in the description below. Check it out. Moving on to our last news story. I wouldn't call it an anime news story exactly, but it does involve Japan, and it does involve animation. So, I don't know, I kind of consider it an anime story, like loosely. But basically, this last news story is that apparently Japan is going to celebrate 80 years of Tom and Jerry with a stage musical. So, yeah, I don't know if you guys know this, but Japan really loves their stage musicals. Like, for whatever reason, like, stage musicals are huge over there. Like, sometimes even, like, video games get, like, semi-sequels and stuff in the form of stage musicals. Like, I know it happened with, like, Nier Automata, for instance. So, weird, right? But, yeah, I mean, I just thought this story was interesting because, yeah, not only is Tom and Jerry 80 years old, which, wow, that's a lot. But I just think it's really funny that Japan, apparently really loves the show and they wanted to honor it with a stage musical. So I don't know. It's just an interesting story all around. I would really love to like see a version of it. I think it sounds really interesting. And yeah, it says here the show opens August and will be performed in Tokyo and Osaka before closing October 20th. So there you go, guys. If you're ever in Japan, specifically in Osaka or Tokyo, and you're wondering, what you can do, why not check out the Tom and Jerry musical? I mean, apparently that's a thing. So I don't know, man. I think that sounds awesome. I would love to check it out, see how that even works as a stage musical, because it just sounds so weird, but there you go. I just thought it was a really fun story. Definitely something I didn't expect. So there you go, man. Check it out. Alrighty, and with that being said, that brings us to the end of another news week. As always, hopefully there was some sort of news story that you guys enjoyed, whether it was because it was entertaining or because it was informative, that sort of thing. Hopefully you guys liked all the news stories that I covered this week, so yeah, give me a comment in the comment section below. And with that being said, I think we should transfer over to the last section of the podcast, which is, of course, the Content Creator Spotlight. And the content creator for this week, it's a weird one because I had planned to cover her, but I feel like I kind of messed up because, what's the best way to explain this? Basically, my content creator for this week is Jenny. And Jenny is this really talented singer that does covers of all sorts of songs, specifically like anime music. Like she did a version of, from The Promised Neverland. There's this song called Isabella's Lullaby. Like she did a cover of that. She did a cover of Love Dramatic, which is the opening song for Kaguya-sama Love is War, but she did it in English. Likewise, she also did an English version of the song from, Steins Gate, Hacking to the Gate. She did an English version of that. And so she's really talented. She does all sorts of like covers of songs. She does the English versions of a bunch of songs. Really great work. I really love her music. I've actually used it here and there. And the reason that I feel like I kind of screwed up, I guess you can say, is because back during episode 26, where I first mentioned that Evangelion was coming to Netflix, I thought, hey, you know what would be really fun? I'm gonna use her cover of Fly Me to the Moon as like the end credits music for that podcast. And at the time, I'm like, hey, that's fun, right? It works. The reason I feel like I screwed up is because flash forward to this episode, and she's my content creator. And now knowing that Evangelion doesn't include Fly Me to the Moon, I feel like this would have been the perfect opportunity to use her cover as the ending song. So it just feels like one of those things where it's like, oh man, I could have totally used her song during this episode, but I already used it for like another episode. So I don't know. I just feel kind of like, oh man, bad timing, But that aside though, as I said, I think you guys should check her out because her songs are great. I mean, not only do they sound good, not only is she like a really great singer, but I just think it's awesome how she takes the time to do all of these like English versions, Like it probably takes some time to like find translations of the song and find like the rhythm and like melody for like an English version and still make it work. But she makes it work so well, And I don't know, just being able to hear all these English versions of songs that, you always hear in Japanese, like I like it, and I really appreciate that she does these. I just think they're really fun. So yeah, guys, check out Jenny. I'll have her, as always, linked in the description below. If you love listening to like Japanese music, especially from like animes, like OPs and EDs, she has like a whole bunch that she's done. I think it's great. And I really appreciate that she always says, you can use her music as long as you credit her. So like, that's really nice. And so yeah, guys, show her some love. I doubt she'll listen to this, but Jenny, if you're listening to this, I think your music is awesome. I think you're really talented. I think the fact that you do all these English versions is like really awesome. It's like really unique, I really love your music, that sort of thing. So keep up the good work. I love your stuff. I'm a big fan. And for everyone else, like I always say, follow her, show her some love. If you like what she does, leave some likes, leave some comments, maybe even subscribe. And if you do, tell her that Wannabe Reviewer sent you. So yeah, there you go. Alrighty, and with that being said, that brings us to the end of another podcast. That is one more in the bag. Hopefully, as usual, you guys enjoyed the podcast. Hopefully there was something in there that, caught your attention, whether it was stuff that I told you that I watched and maybe you guys want to watch it now too, whether it was one of the news stories that, maybe you guys want to read more about, or, whether it was the content creator spotlight, maybe I just helped you discover a new singer that you had no idea about before. So yeah, one way or another, hopefully you guys enjoyed the podcast. And as always, to wrap up, my name is Wannabe Reviewer. I'm the host of the Wannabe Podcast. The Wannabe Podcast can be found on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play Music, iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, all that good stuff. So check it out. And likewise, you can find me over on Twitter at wannabe_review or Instagram as wannabe_reviewer. If you guys were to follow me there, really appreciate it. And as I said, I'm hoping to stream next week. So hopefully you guys can join me for that. Hopefully you guys have a good week. I'll try to be back next week for episode 36. And yeah, my name is Wannabe Reviewer, and I'll see you guys next time. 残酷な天使のように少年の神話になれ青い風が今胸のドアを叩いても私だけをただ見つめて微笑んでるあなたそっと触れるもの求めることに夢中で運命さえまだ知ら